Now in this concept we are going to discuss about endosperm and the ploidy of endosperm. Ploidy is number of chromosomes. Now what is endosperm? The word endosperm means endo, inside, sperm seed. As you know, when it comes to seeded plants, the word sperm means seed. So which two groups of plants we find endosperm? We should find it in gymnosperms and angiosperms. Yes, we do find in both. Then what is the function of endosperm? Endosperm is nutritive in function. It provides nutrition. Nutrition to which cell? It provides nutrition to embryo. So, if it is seen in seeded plants, what do we see it in a seed? Seed consists of two components. One is embryo. Another tissue present is endosperm. In gymnosperms also, in angiosperms also. Now what of the plant part becomes seed? Ovule after fertilization becomes seed. You know all of this. Okay, fine. Now, as I told you already, embryo will undergo division by mitosis and gives rise to the young plant in future. Then who will give the nutrition to the dividing cell? The endosperm. Now, do we have endosperm in gymnosperms and angiosperms in the same ploidy is the question. The answer is ploidy is number of chromosomes. If the function is same, genetically they have to be same. Then the ploidy is also same? No. The answer is no. Then what is the ploidy? Now let us go to the previous slide. Now if you see, the first one says gymnosperms. The second one says nymphia, amborella, monocots, eumagnolids and eudicots. Now after the gymnosperms, these 5 names are angiosperms only. They are flowering plants. Nymphia are water lilies. They have a common ancestor. Amborella is also a dicot. So it is not different from dicot. But this is monotypic genus. That means it has only one species. Unique angiosperm. Unique plant. I have only one species and one genus. That means it has evolved from a different ancestor, not from the ancestor of water lilies, which is the precursor of the angiosperms in water, and not the precursor of monocots and dicots, which is a precursor in common. This is unique angiosperm. Then I have monocots. Eumagnolids is nothing but the dicots, and from where the dicots evolved completely. Eudicots, true dicots. So you can say these two are dicots only. As of now, let us think like this. That's why, because they have a different ancestor, you see there is a different cladogram, a branching for all this. When you see eumagnolids and eudicots, we have a common ancestor. And I have a common ancestor for monocots and dicots. I have a common ancestor for amborella and dicots because they are also dicots. I have a common ancestor for Nymphia and all these dicots because they are flowering plants. But I have a different lineage of development in gymnosperms. So now you see the endosperm. Embryo nourishing tissue is nothing but endosperm. If you see in gymnosperms which has multi-egg cell, that means one ovule will have many female haploid gametes. We call them as archegonia if you remember gymnosperm's life cycle. Then the nutritive tissue is haploid. In case of all flowering dicot plants, in case of water lilies it is diploid, in contrast to gymnosperms, maybe next step of evolution. In case of amberella and in case of monocots and dicots, we see endosperm is triploid. Naturally, when the number of chromosome sets increase, the phenotype goes for a higher manifestation. Greater the same number of chromosomes, better the phenotype, so that the nutrition is ensured in a higher degree. Maybe the idea behind this evolution, but why should we have different ploidy in endosperms when the endosperms are performing same function? Is my following concept slide? Please see it.